New at 4 earlier this year, the USDA cut $1 billion in grants that had helped schools, daycares, and food pantries buy food from small local farms and fisheries. For Rhode Island, that was a loss of $3 million and possibly the end of those programs. Amanda Milkovits from the Boston Globe, Rhode Island, went back to find out what's happened in the aftermath and found there is a possible solution in sight. Amanda, what have you learned?
Oh, well, thanks, Kim. So back in March, when the grants were canceled, the nonprofits and the farmers are really left reeling. Farm Fresh Rhode Island, which managed the grants, had built connections between the agricultural businesses and the schools, the food pantries, the daycares. So, for the schools, for example, Steer Orchard started growing kid-sized apples. Narragansett Creamery made cheese for the school lunches, and farmers in Maine shipped down the broccoli. People were using food. Food pantries were getting fresh food.
Yeah.
And about 100 small businesses had a steady local customer base, and the programs were seen really as kind of a no-brainer across the political spectrum. So it was a huge shock when the grants were canceled.
Okay, so what's happened since then?
Oh, well, so it's been really interesting because locally, the medical community has stepped up, philanthropists have stepped up, even regular people have been donating money to keep the programs going. Now, it's not going to be enough, but the $200,000 cut to the Southside Community Land Trust was covered by all of these donations. Farm Fresh Rhode Island, however, had layoffs and had to scale back its budgets. So the Southside Community Land Trust is still concerned because it's worried about losing $500,000 in grants next year. The federal office that issued those grants is gone. So are the federal workers. So it's kind of basically chaos in D.C.
And so it sounds like some of those donations were maybe a Band-Aid for now. What's the long-term solution? Is there one?
Well, that's where Senator Jack Reed is coming in. So Senator Reed and Senator Jim Justice, he's a Republican from West Virginia, are sponsoring a bill that would restore the federal support. So their bill would create essentially what existed before, a permanent grant program for state and tribal governments so that they can buy food from local farmers and fisheries and distribute to local food pantries and schools. Reed told me that Justice is very enthusiastic and said that the bill would help his farmers in West Virginia and residents who are hungry. Rhode Island, for example, lost nearly $3 million when the grants were canceled, but West Virginia lost $6 million. And West Virginia also has a much higher percentage of households that are facing food insecurity. So Reed introduced the bill just a few weeks ago, and he called it a win-win-win. And he's hoping that he'll get more bipartisan support. And of course, places like Farm Fresh Rhode Island are just glad to see red states and blue states working together to support their farmers.
And I'm sure the people who rely on that fresh, healthy food are hoping that it comes through as well. All right, Amanda Milkovits from the Globe, Rhode Island, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Kim.
And you can catch Amanda's story online. We'll have a link to it on our website.